What's up, everyone? This is Danielle and Jason over at the Collective Genius, and we are in Scottsdale, Arizona for our Q3 event. Jason, how are you?
I'm doing excellent. We're having a lot of fun today. Yesterday we ran through our hot seats where each of our members share what is working in their business, their systems, their strategies, their resources. And then today we have our featured speakers driven around lead generation, building culture, and optimizing the existing business you've already built.
All right, and so we talked about content. We also have a keynote speaker tomorrow.
Yes. We have, there's a gentleman named Jeff Hoffman. This guy, he's like the guy you've never heard of, but yet you've heard of him in so many ways. He's one of the founders of Priceline.com. The gentleman is a billionaire, which again at CG, although we like and enjoy making money, it's not our focus. And so not so much impressed that he has made a tremendous amount of money, but more so that he has taken that and realized that it's not his destination. It's more so his platform to begin focusing on working on what matters rather than just working on making money.
Right, and you are taking the stage after him to talk about legacy.
Yeah, so one of the big things in CG is although it's fun to play the game, you get to a point sometimes where you reach a level of at least financial success that you look up and you're like, okay, a lot more money isn't really going to change my life. And so you start asking yourself the tough questions around, like, what's my legacy going to look like? What is it that matters? And so when Jeff finishes talking about legacy, I'm going to step in to take a presentation on that has probably tested me more than any presentation I've done in quite some time, and that is really just talking about being legendary. And that does not mean that I have figured out being legendary by any means. Really, what is legendary? That means that when you leave, when you hit the dirt, that you've left enough impact that people are still talking about you and your impact on them. And so I have not figured that out, but tomorrow I'm going to take some steps at really kind of defining what it requires to ensure that happens, right? Because if you are looking to join this organization, you probably think you've got plenty of money and plenty of time, but I can assure you that one is probably going to run out before the other. And when it does, we want to make sure that our time matters. So
well said.
Yeah.
Well said.
Yeah.
So we talked about content. What about connection? You are a connector. What are some of the connections going on inside today?
Yeah, so before we segue into that, just a couple of highlights into what we're talking about from a content perspective. So right now inside we've got Eric Brewer from our leadership team doing a presentation with Steve Trang, really sharing how to leverage social media to find deals, to find buyers, and of course in the middle to find capital. How to do that, and not only how to do it, but how to do it simplistically, and how to do it also by leveraging your team so you're not the one that carries the burden of that content. The next presentation after they finish is going to be Mr. Ren Bartlett, again a gentleman on our leadership team who is a total rock star with Irby Home Buyers. They are going to be by the end of this year into 10 different markets. They will probably do north of 800 plus transactions, and the reason that they're having so much success, it's not all about deals and dollars. It's about the community that they've created from the perspective of the culture that they have built in their organization. It is so incredibly amazing to see what they're doing as far as creating a community with their employees and ensuring that they have an amazing place to work in that empowers them as human beings from an impact perspective. And then we're going to close out today with Mr. Frank Cava out of Richmond, who is again a member of our leadership team that's going to do probably 300 plus transactions this year and really talk about optimizing the business. I think it's always easy to look at the next best thing when in certain cases, if you've built a substantial business, the best thing to do is to take the momentum that you created and optimize it to be more profitable and more efficient versus just thinking bigger is better. Sometimes you want to scale to get better versus just scaling to get bigger, if that makes sense. And so he's really going to dig into that. And so we talked about content a lot, but one of the big reasons that folks are here is not necessarily just about content or what's being shared in that room right now, but the break that we're about to have is where connections take place. And so one of the things we wanted to do is really kind of talk through some of the connections that are creating results for our members. That's something that we put tremendous focus on at CG. And so really just wanted to share some examples with you. So there's some gentlemen here out of Oklahoma City. You've got Brian Higgins, Alex Moses. They have just in the last 6 weeks sold about 21 properties to some other members, Rich Levinson, Adam Levinson, and Rich Scola. They are running a fund and buying up properties all over the country. They need to buy thousands of doors. Alex and Brian have sold them about 21 doors and have another 20 or so under contract. That's just one of our members. They are buying right now from a multitude of our members and continuing to scale. And so that's one relationship for Brian and Alex that will probably make them an additional 7 figures this year when you annualize the amount of units they're going to sell to Rich and Adam. Another example might be a gentleman named Corey Boatwright, who's in our organization. He found a deal in California. He doesn't live there. And so he's like, I've got a great deal, but I don't have buyers. He called up Scott Oots, who's in our organization in California. Scott said, I can find the buyer, no trouble. And then needed to fund that deal. So Joe Taylor out of Washington, another member of ours for 5 or 6 years, said, I'll fund it while we're searching for the buyer. So you got basically soup to nuts, CG members taking a deal from cradle to grave. We'll close with one last example. This is probably the coolest example. So a number of us last week, right before here, before our event, just closed on a $17 million portfolio, and it was cradle to grave CG members, right? So you got Dave and RJ Payerchin out of Ohio who found this portfolio. It was about 430 doors, I think, combination of single family and multifamily. So they found the deal. Mike Zlotnick, who's out of New York, came in and structured the deal with the financing from a waterfall perspective. And that consisted of Lance Spencer on the front end, who did about a $13 million first, and then there's about 5 or 6 of us that pooled in together on the second mortgage for about $4 to $4.5 million, and that deal closed last week. And now the real work begins of having them liquidate that portfolio over the next 12 months or so. And it wasn't just a matter of, okay, you closed on it. And we all got on a call and strategized and broke down the portfolio into different buckets in regards to how those assets needed to be disposed of to be done quickly and efficiently. Everyone gets in and gets out and minimizes risk along the way. So just some great examples of how when you come inside of the Collective Genius, if you're looking to level up, it's not always about content and systems and strategies as much as it's who you're going to meet when you are here. You are one connection away from leveling up. That's really what our specialty is. It's something that we put a relentless focus on. We always say a ruthless, relentless focus on creating relationships that create results for you. And I think that's about a wrap. Yeah.
All right. So if someone's interested in learning more about the Collective Genius, or they want to come and join us at our next event, where can they go?
It's pretty simple. If you want to come and check us out, learn a little bit more about what we do and how we do it, and more importantly, how we can help you, just go to learnmoreaboutcg.com. That's learnmoreaboutcg.com. It's a super simple, laid-back process. We are more engaged in building a community than we are just selling memberships, if you will. We're looking for the right fit. You'll fill out a brief questionnaire. You'll jump on the phone with our team. We'll kind of look at like what your 3 core issues or challenges are right now, or what your goals are, and we'll actually specifically on that call talk to you about what we can do to help you blaze through those, and who are the people inside of our organization that will be responsible for helping you move through and bust through those goals, those challenges, those desires that you've got to grow your business. So super laid back process, really more focused on building a great community of good people who are driven around go giving. So if you fit that that mold, if you will, come check us out. Learn more about cg.com. Check out what we do. Get scheduled up for a scaling session, and we'll see you there.
See you there.
All right. Peace out.